Hello everybody, I am Leon and today we're going to be designing a D&D character. This is Monday. She is a character I have created for a D&D campaign I'm running with some of my friends. When designing her, I was trying to take into account some cards that I had pulled. She is a human, a cleric, and also a hermit. So I wanted to include like this snail shell backpack. While I know hermits are crabs, I thought having like the shell motif would be kind of funny for her. And so I made sure to include that. I did not want to exclude that backpack at all. I also wanted to include stuff like her mace on her person, though I'm not really sure how someone carries a mace, so I made up this like weird belt strap thing that I just ended up keeping even though it's probably incorrect. I also wanted to do another sketch of her holding the mace like an attack stance, and I actually do know this. Maces are one-handed weapons. You are not supposed to hold them with both hands, but I wanted to draw her holding it wrong because I just feel like that's part of her character. She doesn't really care too much if she's holding it wrong. It just feels right to her, so that's how she's gonna do it. Can't tell her otherwise. For these other two sketches, I was drawing her with this cape of billowing that she got as a magical item, and I didn't draw it initially because I didn't want it to cover her full outfit, so I wanted to be able to see everything and understand her a little better before adding this cape. After I finished up all these sketches, I moved on to my tablet to do some digital line art and coloring because I prefer coloring digitally because I have so much more control over all the shades and the colors and such. So obviously I started off with the line art, which safe to say the line art is one of my least favorite parts. I find it a little boring and tedious because it's a little repetitive of just going over the sketch and just refining it, though I do actually still like it because I like seeing the sketch come all together. Though I did actually really struggle here with her feet. Like, you can see that I had to reposition them myself digitally because I was really struggling with how they looked and just the perspective of them, but I think it did end up coming together. I did do a lot of finicking with the proportions and stuff all here. I think most of the other drawings I didn't struggle with as much as the main one, though the other ones were just as tedious as that one. Though usually it doesn't feel too bad when I'm drawing because I am thoroughly entertained with YouTube videos and some Netflix. So, a little fun fact, I started watching Nurse Jackie while doing this drawing, and oh my god, that show is insane, you guys. It was made in like 2009, so it's pretty old. I'm a little late to the watch train, but I'm really enjoying it. Anyways, back on topic, with this drawing, I actually did kind of struggle with her mace, like trying to figure it out. And I actually was already struggling a lot with drawing that mace because I've never drawn a weapon like that before. I'm not really into like tactical stuff. I really like natural shapes and flowy dresses and things like that. They just come a lot easier to me than straight lines and stuff. So I actually did a little fun party trick and traced the mace from the original one that I drew. And it's a little bit of cheating, but it worked out just fine for me. And I think it looked really good sizing it up too. I think it looked more natural that way. And after all that boring liner, I finally got to get onto another fun part, the coloring. I absolutely had a blast doing her dress. I just loved the patterns and everything about it was just so fun. My favorite part about doing her dress was figuring out that like mountain pattern I had on there. I found this beautiful inspiration picture from Pinterest of this like kind of fantasy looking dress that had these like mountains and all these patterns printed on the bottom. So I tried to replicate something like that, of course, with my own little spin on it. And I think it turned out really cute and really fit her character. I feel like I haven't really mentioned much of her character yet. She is like a farm girl. She grew up on a rock farm and she moved away from her family to, you know, live on her own, start her own life, you know. She is still pretty young. She's 19 about, so I wanted her to look youthful, but still like, you know, pretty adult. And I wanted her to look like she was also holding on to like her roots of where she came from, so still very, you know, small town village girl. Oh, and as you can see, we have already moved on to shading, which is, it's such a relaxing and nice part, and it really brings everything to life. It is so fun for me, and I find it to be relatively, I wouldn't say easy, but like, you know, calming, simple. Though I did actually have a bit of a challenge here shading in this cloak of billowing. I pulled up a reference from the actual D&D like picture of what it actually is supposed to look like in game, and while I did simplify it a lot by taking off those like frills and the rope, I did still want to make it look like magical, and I don't think I quite succeeded, but I do still like how it came out. I think in the future I will want to add more like shimmer and maybe gold, and also add like the little frills and stuff that I had left out initially because I wanted it to look more simple. But that's definitely for the future, and I still think it turned out really well, all considering. At the very end here, we have my absolute favorite part, which is skin shading. I just think it completely brings the character fully to life, and I always say best for last, so I always do it last. For Monday, I really wanted her to look kind of like pink when she blushes, because I just feel like that's what she would look like. I feel like if she were, you know how she's holding her breath in that picture, getting really worked up and mad, holding that mace. I wanted her to look really red and like she's getting herself all worked up. And I think I really made that clear and come to life. I thought it was so fun. But here is the final product. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun drawing Monday with you guys, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye!